Hello everyone. Now we shall move on to the next topic that will be on the coefficient of variation. As you remember that coefficient of the variation is the variation which is a relative measure. Okay, coefficient itself signifies with the where the units of measurement have been expressed in the form of percentage. Once again I repeated, the coefficient of variation is the relative measure of variation. It is used to compare the variations in the frequency distribution. It is the standard deviation expressed as a percentage of a mean. The formula goes like this, that is coefficient of variation, that is CV equals to standard deviation divided by mean, that is sigma divided by x bar into 100. So percentage signifies 100 over here. Now, the uses of the coefficient of the variation is to nothing but to have the comparison between the two objects or the two data. So, coefficient itself with the variations of the two things will be taken into the consideration, two or more. The higher the value is, it says like it is having more variation. If it is with a lesser number, which says about less variation, or with a consistency is more, less consistency, or the less stable. If it is more consistency and more stability is not there. For example, the marks scored by the student in first sem, second sem, third sem, fourth sem. If in the first sem he has scored with a 60, the second sem he has scored in the 62, whereas in the third sem if he has scored only with a 45, then again with the fourth sem if he has scored with a 61. So after looking at it, then we can see that in the third sem he is having less. So when we make a comparison between these, then we will come to the conclusion, if we compare first and second, there is a less consistency, variation is not more. When we compare with the second and with the third, there is more consistency because the variation is differing a lot. So that will be the thing where we need to look after whether it is having more consistency or less consistency. Variation should not be more, it should be less consistent. We shall move on to the problem now. We know how to calculate with the standard deviation, we know how to calculate with the mean. Okay, in the last class we have done with the standard deviation calculation and we have done with the mean calculation. We'll go through the problem now. Following are the price of goods in rupees at different stores in two cities. So city A and city B. These are the values: 73, 78, 72, 74, 75, 73, 72, 74, 75, 72, 74, 72, 76, 72, 73 and 75. Okay, we'll move on to the calculation of solution. So A and B, where they are given with the x variables. So firstly, to get with the coefficient of variation, what we need standard deviation and with the mean. So we need to calculate mean firstly. To get with the mean, what is the formula? Sum of x divided by n. So sum of x is 591 of A and of B 589. Okay. So mean sum of x is 591 divided by 8. Number of values are with the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I get 73.875. For the calculation of the standard deviation, we need to calculate x minus x bar whole square or sum of x square divided by n minus sum of x divided by n to the whole square. I've taken with this formula. One problem I'll do on this formula, the other one I'll do with using with this formula. we shall go for this one. We have got with the x values, we have done with the mean calculation. So we have got mean as 73.875. So x is 73. 73 minus 73.875, you'll get 0.875. 78 minus 73.875, you get 4.125. 72 minus 73.875, you get minus 1.75. Remaining same way of calculating it. And for the next, what we need to do is we need to get an x square to the whole square. Okay, so we have done with this one. We need to get the square of this one, so this into the same values. Minus 0.875 into 0.875, we'll get 0.765625. 4.125 into 4.125, you get 17.015625. So do the same calculation for all the values. The total you will get 26.875. Now further we'll do with this one is for the A. Further we'll do for the B also. So what is the mean of the B? It is 73.625. The values is 75. So 75 minus 73.625, you will get 1.375. 72 minus 73.625, you will get minus 125. Continue with the same calculation. Further, you will get these values. Okay. So square of this one, 1.375 into 1.375, you will get 1.890625. Minus 1.625 into minus 1.625, you will get 2.6406. 0.375 into 0.37, you will get 0.2531. Continue the same calculation for the values. You will get 17.7531 total of x minus x bar square. Now we'll calculate with the standard deviation now. Standard deviation of A, sum of x minus x bar square divided by n. We have got 26.875 divided by 8. We will get 1.325. This is for the A. Okay, so the same way we will calculate for the B also. So x minus x bar to the whole square divided by n. So 17.7531 divided by 8. Then the answer you will get 1.4896. Okay, further we will go for the coefficient of variation of A. So standard deviation of A divided by mean of A into 100. So we have got standard deviation as 1.8325 divided by 73.875 into 100, you'll get 2.48. Whereas with the B, 1.489 divided by 73.625 into 100, it is 2.02. So we have got 2.48 for A. Whereas CV of B, we have got 2.20. So by seeing this, we may conclude that B is more consistent than A because it is less, it is having with a less variation compared to A. So B is the having with a less variation. B is better. So conclusion, B is less variation, so hence B is more consistent than A. Okay, we shall move to the next problem. During the 10 weeks of the session, the marks scored by two candidates, Jayant and Vasant, taking the computer program course are given below. So the two candidates who are working on the computer programming course. Jayant and Vasant, they have given with the values. Jayant values and with the Vasant values. What question they have asked is, who is better scorer, who is more consistent? When we say with a better scorer, more marks who have scored, he is the better scorer. More consistent, where a lot of variations are not there. It is with a less variation. For him, we will call it as a more consistent. Firstly, go for the note. Write down with this note. To find out with a better scorer, find out their average scoring. Average scoring means mean. Okay. Mean scoring. To find out with a more consistent, it means more stable. So we need to find out the variations in their scores. So we have to calculate the coefficient of variations of Jayant and Vasant, that is CV. So we'll go through the problem now. So I have signified x of j is a Jayant and v is the Vasant, x of v. So these are the values. Here I have taken with the other method of standard deviation. As I said, I'll be doing on the 2 formula also. So here I have taken with this formula of standard deviation, sum of x divided by n, sum of x square divided by n, sum of x divided by n to the whole square. I have taken with this formula. So firstly we will calculate with the mean. To get with the mean, we need to get the sum of x and with the number of values or the number of students. So if we have done it over here, so total you get 610 for the Jayant. For the Vasant you get 715. So we will go for the calculation part. Calculation. So what I said, calculation of a better scorer, we need to calculate with the average. So average is with the mean. So mean of Jayant is sum of x divided by n. So 610 is the total, divided by numbers is 10. So it is with a 61. Whereas with the Vasant, 715 divided by 10, it is 71.5. So Vasant is more scorer than with the Jayant. So these are. So Vasant is better scorer. We'll go for the calculation of the standard deviation. So the second question what they have asked, they have told you who is more consistent. To get with the more consistent, we need to get with the CV. Okay, so calculation of a CV says that we need to get with the standard deviation divided by mean into 100. Now, this formula, use it. I have done with the calculation of square. So square is nothing but x into x. 58 into 58 of Jayant. Okay, so 3364. 59 into 59, 3481. 60 into 60, 3600. Same for the Vasant. 87 into 87, 756. Sorry, 7569. 89 into 89, 7021. 78 into 78, 6084. So continue with the same calculation of this. Square is nothing but x into x. Write out with the values what you get with the total. Okay. For the Jayant, it is 37,736 divided by 10. The mean, that is sum of x, is 610 divided by 10. You will get 7.253. Same for the Vasant also. You have got 52,833 divided by 10. 715 divided by 10. You will get 13.0786. Now we will calculate with the CV. Now we have got standard deviation as well as mean. Substitute the values what we have got as an answer. So of Jayant we have got standard deviation 7.253, and with the mean we have got 61 into 100. So we will get 11.89% for Jayant. For Vasant, 13.0786 divided by 7.15 into 100, you will get 18.2917%. So when we see the percentage, less variation is with the J. So he is more consistent. Conclude your answer. Jayant is more consistent. Why? Because he is having less variation compared to Vasant. Thank you.